I think I'm just going to go all in on photography and video and content creation. I think if I just spend the time I have, instead of trying to like do these other things and play it safe, take a risk on myself and see if this will work. Because at the time I'm heartbroken. I'm actually broke.
Yes.
And like, don't really know what else to do. And I kind of told myself in the moment, look, I can sit here and drown in everything that's going on in my life. Because that's probably the lowest point in my life. Because I felt like a failure. Or I can get to work. I can put my head down and I can get to work. And that's what I did. For the next like year, all I did was work.
So, are you from around here?
Grew up in California, but I have lived in Utah for about 8 years now. Moved here in 2017.
Nice.
So that's 8, yeah.
That's always a perk. As long as people are in Utah, they can be on this podcast, because I'm not to the point that I can fly people in
Yeah. I'm 20 minutes up south of here.
Cool.
So not
There's
even
a huge network in Utah. Like,
oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
That's what I'm learning even doing this, because I obviously know the people I know, but then as we've started to reach out and expand, it's like there is thousands of people here that like are in our industry.
I feel like more than a lot of other places.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like there's thousands in like every genre.
Yeah.
You have like landscape, wedding, portraits, tech, everyone.
It's a super entrepreneur spirited community for sure.
Yeah.
I've always said that there's so many like brands that are nation worldwide that have started in Utah, which is cool. But so much. Like I was thinking about, man, if I was doing this podcast in any other state, would it be this accessible? Like there's a huge group in Salt Lake, a huge group in Utah County. And it's like a lot of it stems from, Parker doing full-time filmmaker. Not that brought everyone here, but it's just like, you just find out a lot of people started there.
Yeah.
So we're going. We're already cruising on this podcast.
We're cruising.
Well, Austin Rupp, thank you for coming. Welcome to A Filmmaker's Journey.
Happy to be here.
I heard you've been on one other podcast before.
Yeah. One other podcast. It was over Zoom, so I had the comforts of my home to lean on. So it's a lot more intimidating, but I will not crack under the pressure.
Like I said, pressure's on, man. We got lots of good lights. We got an LED wall where we're gonna just completely show you off all of your great work. And that's the coolest part about this podcast is we want it to be interactive, and we want to show your work and show you off. And I'm excited to get to know you on this podcast. By the end of it, we're gonna be homies.
We're already homies.
Already. Just the fact that you came in.
The twinkle in your eye, the smile. I'm glad we're sitting across from each other. I won't be able to take my eyes off.
I wish that this table was not as long.
Get way more intimate.
Just kidding. But no, man. If you know the format, I just want to start with an introduction, who you are. Let's really just dive into like what you're doing right now, your profession, the work you're doing, personally, what are you doing, things like that. And then we'll dial it all the way back and cruise through your whole journey and talk how you got here. Yeah.
So kind of like bullet points, or kind of
let's just say, hey, I'm Austin Rupp, and I am this and that, and this is what I do, and I just want to hear a lot about what you're up to like currently.
So currently I'm 28 years old. My name is Austin, like we've said a couple of times. And I'm a photographer, content creator, mostly, and right now I'm mostly just focusing on trying to capture stories through photography. Kind of like tell cinematic stories through photo and share those with people who are interested.
Why photography?
I have just always gravitated towards photography. I know a lot of people are more into video these days, especially with the boom of like short form content. Like it's all about video, but
because you still got to create video to promote yourself.
Yeah, I do dabble in video. It's one of those things a lot of my friends will be like, you don't really flex your video skills as much as you should, because I'm no slouch at video. If I'm out shooting, I'm prioritizing photography over video. I don't know, there's just something that I've always gravitated towards when it comes to photo and just like capturing a still moment and almost capturing everything that's not said. I've always had an overactive imagination, and so I like photography because it allows you to kind of fill in the blanks of like what's going on in a particular scene. And it's photography to me is just as much about what's not there in the frame than what is.
That's amazing. It's you're so talented. I looked at your website earlier, and it's like unfair. As I've been doing this podcast, how talented your generation is. Like there's so much talent, because I come from the generation before you guys, like right as YouTube became like a thing, and cameras weren't as accessible, technology wasn't where it is, and it was harder to do this stuff, man. And it's like I'm always like jealous of what you guys are producing, and obviously yours is incredible. So
thank you.
Kudos to you, dude. It's really good stuff. As far as photography goes, what is it like? Dive deep into that image of just like why that still image versus doing a video, and then also just the technicality of doing a photo versus a video, because I started with video and did photo later. Like they're two different worlds, but they're also the same.
They overlap a little bit, but they are different. I think when it comes to, I don't know, photography, it's like I feel like it's more like a checklist, at least when I approach it. I try, and there's specific types of shots I like to capture, whether it's an establishing shot, which also this checklist probably still applies to things like filmmaking as well, but establishing shots, medium shots, detail shots, movement is a big one for me as well, like motion blur in stuff. I want my photos to feel like they're stills from a movie, which is like, I don't know, I feel like is kind of a challenge, where it's like, how can I make a movie but it's in still form? Like how can I tell a story without being able to like have movement, like in these still frames? How can I progress through a narrative with these with these pieces? And so I think I look at it the same way. I think I just gravitate towards that medium of photography. I love sitting down and like editing photos. It's like when you're editing video, you're like kind of stuck on like the same little piece of like the audio track over and over again, but editing photos, you can like turn on some music, you can really kind of settle in. Music plays a huge role into my photography. A lot of the times the ideas I have for shoots start in music. Like I'll hear a song or something that I really like, resonate with, and then my overactive imagination will kick in, and I'll try and like match a narrative to something like that. And so I'll usually play a song that I want for specific photos. Either the photos were shot with that song in mind, or I found it after, and that song will be on repeat for hours while I edit the photos to kind of just stay locked in on this narrative I'm trying to tell and the emotion of the photos. But yeah, I think that's
so cool. Like it's interesting to hear you tell that story in a way that's for photos, like you're doing a narrative. And I actually noticed that on your Instagram, if you want to pull that up, like the way that you do those stacked images, and you've got all the different, I'm sure that's exactly what you're talking about, is like you are telling a story. It's one of like the third or fourth lines right there. So you've got like these, it's telling a story in these stacked images. You've got your close-ups, mediums, and wides.
I always have a cover
Go
set.
back one, Ben. Sorry, the X out of this one. That bottom one to the left. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. Like you are that. And then when I first looked at your stuff, I was like, this is totally like a story. So as you start to explain that, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
And so you're just listening to music, editing these photos. What is it when you're capturing them? Like how are you telling that story while you're capturing the photos?
Yeah, so I like to think about photography as like, these aren't just photos. Like I'm not out here as a photographer taking a picture. Like I try and have that kind of cinematic approach where like I want these photos to feel like you're just kind of peering into someone's life. Like you're kind of getting, it's almost like when you meet someone for the first time and you're just meeting them at whatever point in their life they are at that point. And I want my photos to feel like that, where it's like, you don't know about this person, but they're sparking your interest. You want to learn more about them. I don't have my, the people I photograph look at the camera very often because I want it to feel very fly on the wall. I think even like this one right here, she's looking off to the side. And I'll even direct them, say things like, hey, like look off to the side. Like imagine you're like waiting for your husband who you haven't heard from in months. He's been at war. He's coming back in to see, like, how would you peer out to the ocean if that was a scenario you were in? Wow. And like, that's the kind of stuff I want to capture. And I want to have these kind of emotions. I don't direct, I don't pose people a lot. I'm not like, okay, like tilt your head a little bit like this, move your arm. I'm like, I have them act out different things. So it's like, I am kind of directing them in the sense that it would be filmed, but I'm just capturing it in photo. Yeah. I'll be like, hey, can you like walk through this field, kind of like reminiscing on like maybe you had a hard day, like you're kind of running your hands through the grass, things like that. You're thinking about maybe you have a big decision coming up. Like I want to feel the kind of emotion that you can have. This one, I remember directing them and saying, I'm a big Pride and Prejudice fan. I love all those kind of romance movies. And I was like, I want these photos to feel like you just realized you're in love with Mr. Darcy.
Nice.
You know, and so kind of have that kind of ethereal kind of like moment to it and have that emotion in the photos. And so
that's amazing. That's interesting. Do you go into these shoots with that in mind, or are you just in the moment? Obviously she has a dress, she's on the beach. Are you like prepping yourself as a director, like, or are you just on that in that moment when the moment's happening and you think of that line?
Yeah,
that's tough to be on the fly.
Yeah.
And like, think about being in the movie Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. It's a little bit of both. So I do a lot of pre-planning into my photo shoot.
Nice.
So I'll put together entire like mood boards and stuff that I will pitch to people before I even book the shoot. I'll come up with the idea, you know, and like wardrobe, like you mentioned, she's in a dress in this, and wardrobe plays a huge role, you know, because like another thing that helps it feel less like you're out taking someone's picture is the wardrobe, and make it feel more like a film, you know. So I always try and make sure the wardrobe matches the location in tone, but also in color. You know, a lot of films, they're only shot in a few colors. And so if I'm like out on the beach or something like this, I'm like, okay, like natural tones, no logos, minimal branding, no branding if possible, things like that. White dresses are great because they reflect a lot of what's the tones around you in the environment. So if you don't know what to go with, a white dress, always the go-to. Because you'll get reflections in the water from the sun as well.
I'm always saying, what is the, gosh, I just lost it. Is it, oh my gosh, the colors like light tan, light green, like more closer to the white bait. What is that? No. Well, that's one color. There's the group of colors. I always tell actors, if like, what should I wear?
Like the
pastels. Is that it?
Like
I don't
muted.
remember. Muted, just, anyway, we don't have to get into that, but I agree with you 100%. Yeah. That's usually the go-to, because a lot of times darker can get lost in the image.
Yeah. Avoid blacks and like neon colors at all costs.
Yeah, especially when you have this, I mean, your style totally leans itself for that. So how did you get to this point? I mean, you're only 20. How did you develop your style and get to this point where you know what you want? Especially when I hear you talk about no branding, when I hear you talk about them looking off camera, coming up with, first of all, pre-planning a photo shoot. That's pretty rare, I think.
Yeah.
You obviously are a perfectionist. You're an artist.
Yeah, very much.
Tell me how you developed and got to this point so young.
I'm 28, so
I thought you said 20.
I'm 28.
I'm sorry.
But no. I appreciate the comment that I could pass as 20.
You look super young.
If I shaved better, baby face.
Because you said I'm this old. My name's Austin Rupp, and you said 28?
I think so.
I apologize.
Did I say 28? If I didn't, I apologize for misspeaking the conversation. But no, I am 28. You look
young. Okay. That's still super young, and to be able to do this stuff and have the mindset that you have.
Yeah, I picked up my first camera though in 2021. So I've only been doing this for about 4 years.
Even crazy.
And then I only shot my first portrait, like the ones we saw, in about 2023, I think. It was like January 2023. I don't know. I've always been a big film buff. I love movies. Cool. I like watching movies. I have the AMC pass that lets you go see 3 movies a week.
Very cool.
Like $20. I'll just go do that all the time. And I get a lot of inspiration just from films and stuff. And I think, I don't know, I've always just had this drive to be better, but also kind of understood that I wasn't going to be great to begin with. Because if you scroll back not even that far, things get much worse on Instagram.
It's a time capsule, man.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I think a lot of photographers or filmmaking stuff, they kind of like will like reach a point where they're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like this is good. I'm booking clients. Like I'm content with how my work is at this moment. And they kind of plateau a little bit. And I've always been terrified of that plateau. Like I want to get better. I want to push myself out of the comfort zone. I don't like the idea of there being things that I don't know how to do or things that I can improve on. Like I just want to always be better. And I think a lot of it came from trial and error, you know, doing photo shoots where their wardrobe didn't quite match. I was like, I don't like these photos. Why don't I? And being like really kind of hypercritical. of my work and knowing that I can improve. I think a lot of people who get into a creative field, it's easy to get that mindset of like, oh, this is just how I do it.
Yeah.
And if, art's subjective, and like, if you don't like it, then you just don't understand me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like, rip me apart.
Yeah,
I want to know what I can be better. And I was always hypercritical of my work, maybe to a detriment, never being satisfied, could also be something. But yeah, just constantly trying to improve and be better and not hit that plateau. Like even recently I, picked up a 8-year-old camera that is manual focus, and I'm like, okay, I'm shooting everything manual focus now because I want to learn how to do that. I don't want to be afraid of manual focus, and I'm also wanting to work on my compositions and framing because I feel like those are a weak spot. Like I think, like we said, I love the stacked images, but sometimes I think my work leans too heavily on those to create a dynamic image. So right now I'm working, to strengthen my composition so my photos can even stand better, better on their own,
Which is kind of like these movie poster type things that you're doing.
Yeah.
What are those, I guess, what are the idea behind those?
I have a fine art background. So before any of this, growing up, I loved drawing and painting. So I did painting for years. And so I've always kind of approached photography with kind of a fine art idea. And like each set of photos is like a series. And I always shoot them with the idea that like, what would these look like hung up in a gallery? Or like, what would they be called? Because back when I was painting, every time you finish a painting or finish a series, you have to name it. Yeah. And so I didn't want my photos, I just wanted them to be the same. So every photo has a name behind it, has a story it's trying to tell. Like I think if you can go back to my Instagram, there's one that's a good example of this. It's kind of encompasses everything we've been talking about. I shot.
I thought that was interesting. They look like movie posters, like something you see on the side of a theater.
Yeah, so it's like those are kind of like the covers. Like this is what you're gonna be getting into. Yeah, and if you scroll down to that one with the birds right in the middle.
Oh wow.
So this one's called My Glances Back, and the whole idea of this one was like, it's kind of biblical. In the sense,
image, dude.
Yeah, that one.
You didn't. I mean, that's in the moment.
In the moment,
birds are doing that.
Yeah, and I was like, can you just look at these birds? There's no AI here.
Yeah, believe it.
I captured this. I can show you the raw file if you want it. It doesn't look as pretty, but they are there.
Dude, that is real quick. Side note. That is why AI will never go away or kill us, because knowing that that's real. There's a story behind it. There's that behind the scenes of you in the moment with them, and it's like, to get those birds sharp, exposed, they're out of focus, literally composed perfectly. Good job. I'll let you keep going.
Thank you. No, you're good. You can glaze me all you want. My ego will take it.
I mean, I'm just gonna be giving you compliments. Oh man, amazing.
I'll need that. I need the constructive feedback at the end too.
I'll make sure.
You gotta level out my ego.
I'll find some stuff to give you crap on.
Yeah, give me some crap. But so this one's called My Glances Back. And recently, a lot of my work's been kind of portraits, but I've kind of hit, again, those plateaus where I feel like it's hard to show a ton of emotion in just a single person. I feel like couples photography, things like that, lend itself more to these very larger-than-life kind of emotional stories. And so the whole idea behind this one was it's kind of biblical, and it's in the sense that, like, there's, I don't know the exact references, you might know, where it's like Lot and his wife, they're leaving. Where were they leaving? Wherever they were. Essentially, God says he's going to destroy the city that they live in, and him and his family have to leave. And he says, don't look back.
Yeah, or else you'll turn to salt.
You'll turn to salt or stone or whatever it was.
I don't know.
I don't remember either. The Old Testament is tricky.
Is it salt or is it stone?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, did you look it up? He's got it. He's got it. But the idea is because then his wife looks back at the city, and so the whole idea of this thing is that this couple, they're so in love with each other that like they would be each other's glances back in that moment. Like if they were told they had to leave the other person to not look back, that they would risk looking back to have one more glance at that person, because that and their love for the other person was worth whatever consequences might come from it. And so like that was
I got chills, bro.
yeah. So that's the whole idea of the story. So you can flip through it, and it's just like these different just emotional kind of moments with these two people. Like, you know, you got them looking at each other and things like that. And so that was the whole idea behind this, was that our love is so strong that even if it would be the last thing I ever did, I would look back at you.
How often do you explain this to people? Do you have like a series? Because I'm like, bro, this is cool to like break down your thought process, because that makes, like I was saying about AI, that makes that image so much more powerful with the meaning behind something like that.
Yeah.
So I know you have your series of, what is that, editing photos? You should
Yeah.
have another series where you're like, let me tell you the story behind this image.
I really should. Yeah, because right now a lot of that stuff's mostly for me. Like the most people will get would be like the song choice that goes with this on Instagram, or the titling and stuff kind of hints at it. But yeah, that's probably a good idea. I should probably get more of this out with the people.
We'll start with this one. We'll make a reel for you to explain what this image is. And then, hopefully it does well for you. And people want to hear more of those stories.
But yeah, that's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that I'm thinking about. You know, I'm not just sitting there editing photos. I'm like, okay, like what is this story?
That's what fascinates me.
How deep are we getting? So
that's my favorite stuff, is like, that's a cool picture, but man, talk to me about what was going through your head in that moment. Like, I've been there. There's pressure. Birds are flying. Look, bam. You're just like, I got it. That's amazing. So I had another question before we went back to the journey, but basically you're really good at what you do.
Try my best.
Your photos are awesome. Let's dial it back then to just the beginning. It sounds like you were a fine arts person. You've only been doing, it's probably the wrong term, right? Fine arts person.
Painting. I don't know. It's probably not that deep.
So then you only picked up a camera 4 years ago. When did, I want to hear from the very, very beginning, when like art became like a thing for you.
Okay. Oh, we're going back. Let's do this.
See, I think that has so much influence on what you're doing currently.
It does. And honestly, when I was reviewing some of the things we'd be talking about, I was like, hey, what point do I start this? Because there is kind of like, there's the beginning and there's like when I got the camera.
Yeah.
All the way back.
You're an artist, dude. Let's go back to that.
Yeah. So all the way back, I think it started in like 6th grade.
Cool.
And I was sitting in class, and my friend Nick was sitting next to me, and he was drawing Link from The Legend of Zelda in his notebook. And I was like, that's pretty cool. What is it? He's like, I'm drawing. And I'm like, I want to do that. So I went home and I just started sketching like that. I also started drawing Link from Legend of Zelda, started drawing other characters, started drawing other things. Big superhero buff, so I spent a lot of time drawing superheroes growing up. And so, like that was kind of the start of it, was drawing and then pencil work, and then fast forward to high school, take my first art class. So to this point, I've just been kind of teaching myself, getting drawing books from the library, which kids these days probably have no idea are a thing because they just go on YouTube to learn to draw now. But back in the day, not an option. I went to the library and I got How to Draw the Marvel Way was one of the books and stuff and things like that. Started taking art classes, did that all through high school, and loved it. Learned to paint, learned color theory, learned composition, learned lots of different things about creating art and creating imagery that I still carry with me today. One of the main lessons I learned, I had a great mentor. His name was Myron Stevens. And one of the greatest things that he taught me was the idea of sacrificing your vision. And he used to tell me, he's like, if you can get, from idea to end result without having to make a single change, your idea was not very good to begin with. He's like, true greatness comes from the sacrifices you make along the way. And so I've always been someone who's like very flexible when I'm out shooting or when I'm out creating art. It's like I have this idea, but then that idea might hit roadblocks. I'm gonna have to adapt and change. Maybe lighting wasn't good. Maybe I didn't get the conditions I wanted. Maybe it rained, or I didn't get to use the camera I wanted to use, or maybe the outfit wasn't ideal. But it's like a lot of other people would let that frustrate them, and they would get so hung up on trying to make their vision that they would miss out on the story that's naturally unfolding in front of them. And so I learned that early on when it came to painting and things like that. Same things with like composition and different things. So did that all through high school, but in the background, because it's kind of like two stories and two worlds that kind of collided to get to where I am today. I was getting really into tech. YouTube was starting to take over, and I was getting really into like the tech YouTube side. People like Marques Brownlee or John Rettinger or Unbox Therapy, people like that. I was getting really into watching their videos about technology because I'm also a big nerd, and like they were unboxing like the latest smartphones or tablets or what was new from Apple and things like that. And I got really into those kind of videos. But as I watched more of those videos, I was getting more interested in their production value than I was the actual products that they were talking about. Marques Brownlee, he's a great example of that. He kind of pioneered like cinematic tech videos. Yeah. Back in the day, he'd have these like crazy intros with like, nowadays he's got like robot arms to shoot a cell phone, and it's like crazy. And I got really into that kind of stuff. And then so my senior year of high school, I decided to grab my mom's old like Canon 70D and start trying to mess around making YouTube videos. Cool. And so I started making like tech videos and things like that. I only made like 4 or 5. But it was a lot of fun. And then what
were you reviewing? And you weren't doing photography yet. This was like video. You're just making YouTube videos. Just
video and just YouTube videos. I had taken a photography class in high school, and I didn't like it. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. It's really funny. I didn't like it. I only took the one, kind of just tried to skate by in it because I just wasn't interested. Started making these tech YouTube videos and stuff, and just kind of was making videos on whatever I had. I remember I saved up money to like buy an old iPhone 5S off of eBay to like make videos on about home screen setups and all that kind of stuff, different apps you should use. Yeah. But then, so I did that, graduated high school, and then I took about a 2-year gap. I went and lived in Micronesia for 2 years to study abroad. Kind of lived with them, learned their culture, did all that stuff. And then I came home and moved to Utah. So all this happened. I grew up in California.
Mm-hmm. Which part of California were you in?
I grew up in close to Sacramento, small town called Granite Bay. Okay. That's where I grew up, born and raised there. My parents were originally from Utah. Both my older sisters were born in Utah, but my dad's job took him to California when my mom was pregnant with me. Yeah. So I was born. I take a lot of pride in being the only one in my family who's actually from California. Yeah. I was born and raised there, which is pretty cool. California doesn't really have a good rap these days, but I still take pride in it.
I love California.
I think it's
my
great.
wife's from there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I just don't know if I'd live there, but I love this.
I know. Yeah, I love to go out there as much as I can. But yeah, so I came back home, moved to Utah, and didn't have any idea what I wanted to do with my life. Like every young adult in their 20s, I just did what my parents told me to do, and I went and got into school. I still had a passing interest in art and drawing and stuff. Like I was still creative, but I was starting to fall out of love with painting and drawing and things like that. But I still had an interest in it, so I tried to major in graphic communications, which focuses a lot on just like graphic design for like advertisements and things like that, because I thought that's the most plausible real world application of being an artist is like, I'll just go design ads for people. Little did I know, getting out of that would dodge a bullet with all the AI stuff that's out now. But at the time that seemed like the best thing to do, and I didn't like it. I was still trying to draw. At this point I had kind of moved over to trying to do digital art, so I bought an iPad, was drawing on that, but it just wasn't fulfilling like my creative needs. Like I just felt like I had plateaued in it. I wasn't getting better at it, and I just wasn't in love with that medium anymore. Like I still wanted to create, but it just didn't feel like that was the right medium for me.
Why was it that why were you falling out of painting and drawing?
I just felt like I kind of had an identity crisis in art, where I felt like everything I was trying to do was just kind of some variation of something somebody else was already doing. And I didn't really quite know how to escape that. Yeah. And I also just didn't feel like I had the drive to like get better. To this day, I still can't really draw hands. They terrify me.
I agree. I used to draw a lot, and that's like the worst thing is hands.
It's the worst. And so it was just one of those things where I just feel like I just wasn't, meshing with the medium anymore.
It's kind of an uphill battle. It felt like.
And so again, like I was still kind of like following like that tech world and stuff. And so eventually I was like, like maybe I'll buy a camera. So this one random day, I just went to Best Buy and bought an A7 III and a kit lens.
And this was to pursue photography because you had used your mom's camera for video, right?
Yeah, back in the day. And so I bought a new camera because this is like, we're now into probably like 2020 at this point. So because I bought my first camera on January 1st, 2021. And I was like, I want to like, take photos and make videos on technology again. Because I was like, that was fun. And at this point, I had started following people like Peter McKinnon or like Maddie Hapoya. Was getting really into more like the filmmaking side and like the photo video stuff. Yeah. And so
that's how I found Peter McKinnon, was through video. And then all of a sudden I realized he's a photographer, man.
Yeah.
It started that way.
Yeah. So I did that, bought that camera and was just like taking pictures again of like technology and stuff around the house. So doing tech, desk setups, lots of that kind of stuff for a few years. And then that was great for a few years. That's kind of how I grew like my first 10,000 on Instagram, was through technology. And so just photos, mostly just photos. And I just started dabbling into reels and video when I hit that first 10,000. But
it's interesting to me when people can go viral or grow a following through photos.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Well, reels weren't really a thing yet.
No.
Because TikTok had started.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have an interest because I didn't want to be on camera back then. I didn't want it. I also didn't really want people I knew to know that I was in. That's like very common with a lot of people. I remember like, because this was like right after the pandemic. I had gotten married during the pandemic, and we were living with my parents at the time. So like, I didn't even want them to know I had a camera.
Yeah.
Were
you embarrassed by it?
I was embarrassed by it, but it's also that kind of thing where you're like, you're living with your parents, you'd be saving money. I just would have bought a camera. So I would literally hide in my bedroom and like take pictures of like mouse and keyboards and my cell phone, to like post on Instagram.
Yeah. Like what photos would you say were doing the best? I'm curious. Like, are they still on your Instagram?
They are not, which we'll get to that part of the story.
You changed your brand.
You changed my brand. A lot of stuff happened at this point in my life. So so I started doing that, started taking tech photos and stuff. And then I remember hitting my first 10,000 on Instagram. And at this point, I'm still working dead-end jobs. Like, I think at this point, I'm delivering Pelotons to people's houses, like 12 hours a day.
Really?
Delivering exercise bikes, climbing them up and down stairs. 12 hours a day, come home, try and make a photo or a video or something to post.
Yeah.
And then I finally hit my first 10K. I come home and I want to go tell my wife. And I walk into our bedroom and there's just hangers all over the bed. I go in the closet and our suitcases are gone. And I know, you didn't think it would get this deep.
Oh, let's go.
So I run downstairs and I'm like calling her phone. It's not answering. Don't know where she is. Don't know what's going on. My like mom comes out. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know where she is.
Whoa.
So then I end up, so long story short, she walks out, and we had some personal issues going on at the time. And like, we ended up, that took like a big hit. And then.
Is that like a year into your marriage?
It was about a year. Yeah. So, but so that was really scary. And like, kind of things. We ended up working our stuff out. We got back together for about a year. Yeah. And then, she had an affair. And then,
bro.
Yeah. And so at this point, we're skipping a lot of the personal ground, but essentially.
But thanks for even.
I'm like I said, open book.
Part of your journey.
It's a huge part. So at this point, we fast forward. We had like tried to live on our own for a while. This was like post-pandemic. We had gotten our own place. Yeah. And we were trying to make things work. I'm still working. At this point, I'm working in a sandwich shop.
Okay.
Flipping sandwiches, doing that 8 to 10 hours a day, coming home, trying to make content. And mostly focusing on Instagram. And at this point, I'm probably at about 28 100,000 on Instagram. So it's like doing well.
Yeah, you're doing well.
And like it's starting to work, and like brands are starting to notice. I'm starting to get some brand work. It's all still focused on like tech and desk setup. So I'm like working with phone case manufacturers or keyboard companies and stuff like that. It's starting to work, and I'm starting to feel like, like I might be able to do this like full time.
So you're getting deals.
Yeah, we're starting to get deals.
Paid. And how did you get those deals?
I had an email in my inbox, and people were emailing me asking for stuff. Yeah,
cool.
And so
that's pretty early. That's like probably at the front of like that kind of work. I mean, it was happening before, but like for I'd say smaller creators, obviously at that time you were to have people have that foresight to reach out to you. That was pretty early. So that's cool. That was happening.
Yeah, it was very cool. I felt very fortunate at the time. So right now, my current state of this life, I feel like we've jumped all around, but it kind of makes sense. Yeah. At this point in my life, I am, working a full-time job. I'm trying to save a marriage, and I am also trying to start this new career. Yeah. And then I remember I'm about to have, like, it's gotten the brand deals. Everything is doing well. We're at about like 28K. Things are moving pretty good, and I'm like getting really excited. And then my wife at the time drops the bomb of the affair. Yeah. And this is like, so she left. You're like 4 months of trying to work it out. Yeah. And this was like happening while you were married. So while we were married. Oh my gosh. And so, we had been married a year. Then there was the point where she had walked out during everything. We got back together. Tried to make it work for about another 6 months. We like barely crossed over the 2-year mark of being married. And then all of this kind of comes back out. Dang. And rightfully, it kind of shatters my whole world. And so and you've been fighting so hard to keep it alive. Yeah. This was like the catalyst. I was trying to like meet all of the needs and try and, figure out, what I needed to do, what I needed to be. Kind of taking responsibility for something that isn't on you. Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not perfect either. I think in marriage and stuff, it's a two-way street. Yeah, of course. I think at the end of the day, it just came down. We just really weren't compatible. We were young, at the time when we got married. Like your early 20s, you don't quite know what you want or what you're doing. Even now, you're almost 30. It's like I still don't know what's going on. I remember hitting 30 and being like, gosh, I still have a lot to learn. Yeah, I remember growing up, I thought by 30, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to be set. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Not the case. I think you're figuring it out to the day you die, honestly. I think 40 years old is probably it. And and then you hit 40, you're like, I'm still pretty young, there's a lot of things this beard's not that great yet. It's like stages of life that you just hit new kinds of challenges that teach you about yourself. But so that bomb drops. Okay. And then I make the decision to walk away from social media at that point. Okay. And one of those ones was because I'm still trying to save this marriage, even though maybe I shouldn't be, which my older sister never lets me forget. Yeah. But one of the things is that she felt like I was working a lot on this. Yeah, your sister. No, my ex-wife. Working a lot on social media. Gotcha. Yeah. And so that was like one of the gripes. She felt like I was doing a lot. And like, to be fair, maybe I was, and I think I kind of had that same kind of mindset of like, I'm doing this so we can have a better future, and you got to hustle. And you're in your 20s. I'm in my 20s and I'm hustling and I'm having this idea, but that wasn't good enough for her. Yeah. And so in an attempt to try and salvage a marriage was that I was like, okay, like I'm done. I'll be done with social media. I'll be done with this passion, with photography, camera gear, all of it. I'll be done, and we'll figure this out. So like we went in, like my entire page got like archived or deleted. So this is like maybe December of 2022. You archived it? Yeah. Yeah, we archived it all together. Gotcha. And like was just like, okay, like I'll be done with all this. And then she went through and she deleted some of it because she's like, every time I look at this, I just get mad. Interesting. Kind of thing. Very interesting. Yeah. So I was like, okay, like I choose this over that. I was about 28K, and this is December 2023, and my account has like one photo on it. Oh my gosh. So like all of the like years of work, all of the stuff has like one photo on it. And I think it was like a photo of like my friends that I had taken like at their wedding. Yeah. And Spoiler, the divorce went through.
Okay.
It didn't work.
I believe it. I'd have been like, Austin, bro, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So that's the dramatic stuff.
Okay.
This is the turning point.
Okay.
And so it's pretty much I had all those brand deals, and I just had to cancel all of them.
Really?
And like let them know like I had personal stuff going on. I need to focus on this, which I still stand by. Like I think at that point I've figuring out my life was more important than trying to work
like you
through
said, it's a two-way street, and so you're doing your best to hold on to something and doing what you feel like you should.
I felt like I was trying to do what I wanted to do, but so then flash forward, it's about January of 2023, and I am back at my parents'. I am newly single. I have like no money, no nothing, because I'd like just kind of alienated all of the work I had done. And so I'm just sitting in this room. I have like one camera. I have my MacBook. And I'm just back at my parents. I have nothing. I'm like, I am 20-something. I don't remember how old I was. It was a few years ago. But I'm like, I think I was like 26 or so. And I'm like, I have nothing. Like my entire life that I've been building for the last 6 years or so is gone.
So while that was being archived and deleted, was that while you were still married before the divorce?
Yeah.
Okay. In an attempt to hopefully
save the
relationship. Yeah. But then it ended, and now you're like, crap.
Yeah.
I've lost everything. I should have just kept it, or were you like, I don't regret
I just
that.
like didn't know what to do. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go get a job. And so I got a job delivering pizzas and drive around, deliver the pizzas and stuff. Remember I did that because I was just like scared. I was young. I was panicked. I was just like, I don't know what to do. And so I was like, I'm just going to go get a job. And so, because I was also in, I guess, again, I'm horrible at telling stories. Because behind all this, I also had dropped out of school to focus full time on doing creative stuff.
Gotcha.
And
Where were you going to school at?
I was going nothing fancy. I was going to Salt Lake Community College. Yeah. And again,
you've got a pretty good program though.
Yeah, it was great.
I know video. I don't know how much photo though.
Yeah, I was still doing the graphic communication
Got it. You weren't
stuff.
in video.
I wasn't in all the video and photo stuff is all stuff I learned on my own.
Cool.
Never did any school for it.
So you dropped out of school while you were married?
While I was married to focus. I like always say like I unofficially dropped out because I just kind of stopped signing up for classes. This is like kind of slow. I did like.
It's not like a declaration like on the office.
I
declared bankruptcy.
I stopped. I just stopped signing up classes. My mom stopped asking about it. And then.
Just faded.
Yeah. My mom always wanted what's best for me. She still does. And like before, at first she wasn't like super thrilled with the idea. But then again, I think as things started moving, she had a little bit of faith in me to like carry this career a little bit. But yeah, so I got that job delivering pizzas, flashback forward. And I worked like a 12-hour shift and made like $8. And I was like, this isn't going to...
Strictly tips or what?
Yeah, strictly
Holy
tips.
Smokes. Yeah.
And so...
Like, that's not going to work.
I was like, this isn't going to work.
It's like 95 cents an hour.
Yeah, something super horrible. And I was like, I remember sitting there in my car and being like, I can spend my time better than this. And I was like, I think I'm just going to go all in on photography and video and content creation. Like, I think if I just put my head down and do that, like, I can do it. Mm-hmm. Like, I think if I just spend the time I have, instead of trying to like do these other things and play it safe, take a risk on myself and see if this will work. Because at the time I'm like, I'm heartbroken. I'm actually broke.
Yes.
And like, don't really know what else to do. And I kind of told myself in the moment, and I was like, look, I can sit here and drown in everything that's going on in my life. Because that's probably the lowest point in my life. Because I felt like a failure, like I failed at this marriage. I feel like I had like just failed in life in general, which is probably how a lot of people feel when something like that happens to them.
Yeah, it's like rock bottom.
Yeah, I felt like I was at rock bottom. And I was just like, I can sit here and I can drown in this. Or I can get to work. I can put my head down and I can get to work. And that's what I did. And so for the next like year, all I did was work on my craft. And so you can probably find them if you pull Instagram back up. So I had never taken a portrait up to this point.
Okay.
I had like taken some photos of my ex-wife here and there. But she didn't like the idea of me shooting portraits.
Yeah.
You know,
of other people.
Dang,
I can see why.
Yeah, I can understand. I understand that.
No, I'm not speaking to understand that she didn't want you to. I can see a little bit of this relationship.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. That's kind of a red flag.
But yeah, I think I'd repost them, so you can probably go pretty close to the top.
And I want to touch on something before we go too far ahead.
Yeah.
And that's just like, where the crap did you get this will to like get yourself out of that? Like, are you being inspired by something? What is it that
I think it was
lifted
spite.
you up, man?
I think it was spite.
Because like a lot of people will stay there. And this is fresh for you. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's still there. Like
it's still there.
You did this so like you built something pretty incredible so fast.
Yeah, and so it was probably a little spite.
Yeah, like I'm gonna
prove this person wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm gonna prove that them betting against me was the wrong call.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't the healthiest thing.
I will tell you right now, my dad left when I was 10, and my entire career is built on I'm gonna prove that dude wrong.
Yeah,
he messed
exactly.
up
It's
for
so
leaving.
powerful.
It is.
And honestly, little teasers for the rest of my story is that comes back around.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Interesting.
More recently.
Ooh, stay tuned.
But yeah, it was like this kind of motivation to be like, I want to be better. And it also came back to like going through some experience like that, going through a divorce. It's not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And it also exposed me to a lot of aspects of who I am that I wasn't a fan of. And I was in therapy after at the time, and I was like working with my therapist, and like I remember telling him, I was like, I don't want this to be for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to go through this and hurt this bad and it be for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to make something out of this. Like I want to come out the other side of this better than I was. And so like today I am so grateful for going through a divorce because it made me a better person. I think I was a young kid and I had a lot to learn in life. You know, I wasn't perfect. I'm still not perfect, but I am a better person than I was then. Like I've learned so much about myself, and it gave me that ability and the drive to like be better because I just didn't want it to be for nothing. Like I didn't want to just be like, this is just something that happened and it hurts.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to make something out of this. And so that kind of motivated me as well. Like I wanted to be better.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to be a better person. I wanted to be better at my job and make something
like
of my
all
life.
All the gurus say like it's the hard things that help you get strong. It's the calluses, right? It's the diamond.
Yeah.
They go through all these hard, shaping, just getting beat down type things to really shape who you are. And that's like, I think the worse that you go through and build yourself up, the better you become. Yeah. And so that's just part of life, man. It's just part of proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of me too. I think that's okay to be proud of yourself.
Man.
Let me see if I can find them. So it's January 2023.
Okay.
Fresh divorced, fresh motivation to be better. Where are they? I must have posted them a lot more recent than I thought. They're coming up right there in the middle. If you come back. Flash forward 2023. I've been wanting to shoot portraits. I had started following a lot of portrait photographers on Instagram, mainly Mitch Lawley. He's in Australia. He's a good friend of mine. We've talked a lot. We were talking a lot in that during that time too. And I was a huge fan of his work. And I'm sitting here at my parents' house, broke, with a camera, and I'm like, oh, I can shoot portraits now. Yeah, sweet. That was unlocked. Yeah. And I was like, I want to go do that. And so these were the first portraits I ever took. And so this was January 2023.
And so you took these, but you hadn't started this like name series yet.
Not yet. So these are reposted from when I had posted. So I have updated them since. But these were the first photos I took. Yeah. They're at a record store. Yes. And so like these kind of started the journey into portrait photography because like I was like I want to kind of tell a story, and like kind of start narrating photos. And this was kind of where it sparked. I made these photos. I remember going home and editing them, sitting down and being like, wow, these look really good, and like immediately I had that spark of like, I really like this. Yeah. And like, this was the first thing I found, taking portraits and like crafting these narratives in post that got my mind off of what was going on in my life.
Yeah.
Like these were the first types of things that I felt joy doing again. Like I loved going out shooting. I loved editing and like crafting these stories. And so I kind of just ran with it. And so I took these photos and I just locked in, and I was probably posting 5 times a day for like a year.
Good for you.
And then, yeah, you can probably see a lot of that. So at this point, my Instagram is back up and running.
And it's the same one?
It's the same account, but it starts now at the very bottom with that one photo. With that one photo. It's literally a photo of me just standing there being like, I'm back.
Yeah.
So I like 28K, and I was just like gonna like try and grow this again. But it was like dead in the water at this point.
Yeah.
Because I had pretty much taken a step back through most of, because all the stuff with the divorce hit in November of 2022. So then November to January of 2022, I was just MIA. Like I just dropped off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And I had friends and stuff, other, creators asking where I'd gone, what was going on. So then I finally came back, but my account's dead in the water for the first time. Again, spoilers. Dead in the water. And I'm like, I'm just going to have to reignite this, And so I just had that drive and posting 5 times a day, anything I could. Still doing a little bit of tech stuff, just like kind of desk setup stuff. But then also doing a lot more of the portraits and kind of transitioning from being like, hey, I'm a tech guy to I'm a photographer now. And that was hard because up to this point, I had built up almost 30,000 followers for technology.
Yeah.
The people who were there were for tech.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming back being like, hey, I'm a portrait photographer now.
Who's this guy?
Who is this guy? And so I just did a lot of that and just worked really hard, and then did that for a long time of just working really hard. But I've been yapping a long time, so I'll give you a chance to jump in and ask questions.
I have been, and I've been fascinated by this grit that you have and this hustle mentality. For you to post 5 times a day for a year, that's not normal.
Honestly, it was probably even more. It probably averaged to that. I think some days were even more. I like wasn't sleeping, and like if I had an idea, I made it. Because I had nothing nothing else going on in my life at the time. And so I would just wake up, morning, content till 3 a.m.
So that's an easy thing to do, like in the beginning, and like be motivated, right? And then that fades. Like, what the heck kept you going?
So
more spite?
No more spite. Well, that came. The problem is, so I loved the grit I had, but I wasn't coping, or like I was avoiding.
Yeah, you were using this as like a way
outlet.
To not think about it.
I don't have to think about anything. I can just think about this, and like something crazy happened. My life got better.
Okay.
And so I've been working really hard. Things were starting to happen, and then I think so. Yeah, January 2023 started posting 5 times a day. By the end of that year, I got an email from Hasselblad.
Which is?
They're a camera company.
Okay.
They like make this $12,000 medium format camera.
Really?
Like kind of up there with like Leica as far as like kind of like a Grail camera.
Yeah.
And then they emailed me at the end of the year. And so they're like, hey, like we're coming out with a new portrait lens. We want to send you the camera and the lens to make photos and stuff for us on social media. And at that point, I had only taken my first portrait a year ago, or like less than a year because we're still in the same year. And so like that was really cool. So like I started to kind of hit these milestones in my life. So I ended up working with them. Then I ended up getting the following year. So was that 2023 or 4-ish? So maybe last year I get invited to Sony's Kando. I get to go to their event. So Sony invited me to come out and try out their stuff. I finally had my first like paid trip to go like shoot in Iceland.
Very cool.
So like the grind and grit had started paying off.
Yeah.
And like social media had grown, and like I was starting to kind of achieve everything that I'd set out to, and like my life had gotten better.
Yeah.
I had like healed a little bit, things like that. But then what I found is, since I didn't have that spite or that need to prove myself because I felt like I had, like my momentum like dropped.
Yeah.
Because I'm all of a sudden like, what's my motivation? Like I've like checked all the boxes of what I wanted to do, and so like, why am I doing this now? And so I started to slow down, which was probably good. I started to like try and have more of a balanced life, try and like not just work all the time.
Find some purpose behind what you're doing.
Find some purpose and try and figure out like, hey, why am I doing this? You know? And so things slowed down for a while, and I kind of stopped posting a little bit again. And so things just kind of slowed down as far as the social media side of things.
Just, you meaning you just weren't posting as much?
I wasn't posting as much, you know.
But what I was going to say too is in that 23 year, that was like the year to do quantity.
Yeah.
With the algorithm loved that stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's like not necessarily quantity, it's like super quality, and anyway, it's different. But so you hit that. Yeah,
it's right at the right time. Perfect time to be heartbroken and motivated. And
to put it in a good way.
Yeah. And so, so I kind of, essentially I hit burnout. Yeah. Because, I mean, you naturally would. Of course. You know, so it's like I had been working nonstop. Because I would I would just make stuff when I thought of it. Yeah. You know, posting whenever, middle of the night, morning, afternoon, whenever, 5 times a day, multiple times a day. And it was like I'd make it, post it, on to the next one.
Yeah, you wouldn't think about it.
I wouldn't even think about it. I wasn't even looking at numbers.
That's the hardest part about posting is like you post it and you're like, is it going to do well? Does anyone care about it? But it's like you had that boom, boom, next. The
second I'm done with something, I'm like, on to the next one. Yeah. I don't even look at it. Cool. But so I had the burnout and things weren't going super great. And then so like we had like that kind of great year and everything. And I felt like I was almost untouchable because like things were just all going my way and like it was all going well. But then like I kind of hit the burnout. I stopped posting as much and was just kind of like started to realize, oh wait, like this is actually kind of fragile. Because then like all of a sudden like I was also like I had moved so far away from like the tech world. And like a lot of the brands I was working with were technology focused, but I wasn't shooting that anymore. Yeah. So they weren't working with me anymore. So I started to realize like, oh, like I'm doing great, but also like not that great. So like the work started to slow down. And then I had like, this is like we're kind of caught up now to like kind of what this last year and like this year and like last year are kind of where we were at, where I was at about 80,000 on Instagram. And like, that's kind of it. So like my whole existence is 80,000 on Instagram. I didn't have a TikTok. I had like done some YouTube, but YouTube it's hard and slow. And so I wasn't really motivated in that as much. And like, so like I wasn't really getting as much work. And so it kind of started to be more stressful. I had like recently like moved out of my parents and I'm like got an apartment, things like that. I have a roommate. You know, he's counting on me for half the rent, and but the work had slowed down. And so I get an email from Temu at the time, and I'm like, cool, okay. Like at the time, I'm like, that's cool, that sounds great. So I'm like, they're offering a good amount of money to make videos promoting their products. Cool. So I'm like, okay, like I'll do that.
Was Temu like one product focus? Like how did they get, like, they have everything.
Exactly. So
they just wanted you to promote their like
they would just send me like anything. Cool. And like I tried to they like had one time I worked with them that it was camera focused. Gotcha. But the rest of the time they were sending stuff. And quickly I realized that what they were sending was not great quality. Yeah. But like I'm like kind of in this pickle of like I don't have any other options. I have to pay rent, so I have to do it. But my problem was I made the mistake of like, I'm also burnt out. Yeah. So I'm like only got enough energy to like make these ads and then post those ads. So all of a sudden, which is a mistake of mine because I'm not perfect, is my account's like kind of more focused on stuff I'm creating, like 90%. It's like portraits, photography, photo related stuff. To now it's like more like 80% ads for like Temu and like 20% maybe my stuff. Yeah. And again, that stuff didn't align with what I was doing. Yeah. And so it wasn't working. And then I got more burnt out and like more stressed because of like life stuff. So then I was kind of only posting ads and not really posting anything of my own. Yeah. And so Instagram, again, like I said before, died again. Really? So all of a sudden I'm now for the first time ever losing followers.
Yeah.
And I'm like in panic mode.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Isn't that interesting when that happens? Like you said, it's fragile.
Yeah, it's fragile. Because at that point, I'm just like, yeah, everything's great.
Yeah.
You know?
And you feel like you'll have it forever.
You'll have it forever. And again, that's just something like, as a novice to the industry, I didn't realize.
Well, it's when people start to make a lot of money too. Like a great example is an NBA player. They get a huge contract and they're like, this is forever. And then 10 years down the road, they're broke. It's like,
because you're not thinking about like the jobs you have are ending.
Exactly.
You know, and you're not worried about, because, you know, when you get more seasoned in the field, you know, like you'll get a client or a job, like that's great, but I gotta be looking for the next ones too, because this isn't gonna last forever, which I didn't have that foresight at the time. And so once again, I am like, I'm broke and my job is not working. And I'm at the point now where I'm thinking, like, I think this is the end of this. And like, I don't think I come back from this. And so, so I was like trying to make stuff work, but I was like still doing the team stuff. That was alienating a lot of my community, a lot of the audience. People were leaving. And so eventually I was talking with a friend of mine and I was like, I need to leave this behind, but I'm terrified to, because this is the only source of income I have right now. Like if I don't do this, I don't have rent next month. Cause like, I'm like trying to call other people I've worked with in the past, trying to like pitch myself to people. But again, my workflow and stuff that's appearing online is not really what people want. And so I'm like not having any luck. Yeah. So I'm like talking with a friend. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like I'm boxed and this is just poisoning my business at this point. Because people just, Temu had like controversy, which I didn't know about at the time. And people just did not like it and all that kind of stuff. And then so finally I was like, look, I got to take another risk again. Like, I've been here before where I had nothing and I just need to get myself out of it again. Like, I got to have faith in myself like I did like a year or two ago and do this out. So I cut ties with Temu and things did not get better right away. To the point where like I was relying on like family, like my parents were like helping me pay my rent, which I was so grateful for, that I had family that I could lean on in this hard time, you know, and and so that was all happening.
And to have people believe in you too.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure they were like, this isn't forever. We know you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, my mom and dad are amazing. Like, I have some of the greatest parents. They are the parents that have supported me being creative since I was a kid.
Cool.
My mom would let me draw on my bedroom walls.
Nice.
You know, like, they dedicated their entire dining room in our house growing up where I could just paint. Like, amazing. It was like in the entryway. Like, you came in the front door, it's like front room, and then the dining room that's covered in paintings.
Way cool.
And stuff. So they've always been so supportive.
And that's like, you didn't even know what they were doing back in the day. You're like, no. They were nurturing this creative, this art you had inside.
And my mom's always had her reservations because she just wants what's best for me. You know, I think she probably wishes I finished school and things like that, you know, but
get a real job.
Yeah, exactly. But I think she's so proud of me. And today they call me all the time. They're like, oh, like the new thing looks so good. Cool. You know, like they're like tracking the numbers. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. I didn't even
know it went viral.
Yeah. I'm like, no, that one's old. I wasn't looking at it. You know, like I said, post it on to the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like kind of end of last year. And I'm like, okay, like I'm going to cut ties with this. And then right after that, January like 3rd of this year, I get T-boned in an intersection.
Oh my gosh, dude. Your
I
life
can't catch
is
a break.
Just
like I'm
up,
like
down, up,
yeah,
down, up.
I can't catch a break. So I'm like, okay, great. Like things aren't great, but I'm going to work at it.
Yeah.
And like random day, I'm going literally across the street from my apartment complex to go to the grocery store, and a car decides to run the red light and T-bone me, totals my car.
Gosh.
And so once again, my parents come through and let me borrow my mom's ancient Expedition.
Nice.
Like 20 years ago, which I drove in high school, so it's like full circle.
Yeah.
Still am driving that today because that's a good car.
Hey,
it works,
it'll
you know?
get you around.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so not a great start to the year. Again, no money and nothing's working. Instagram is dying. All of that. And I'm just like, again, just very down in the dumps. And I'm like, okay, like, well, I guess I have motivation again because, like, I have to, like, to live.
Yeah.
Because this is also the first time, again, I've hit this point, but I'm like kind of on my own.
Yeah.
Like I'm like there with my parents are there and they're supporting me, they're helping me, but like I'm living on my own. I'm not living there. And like just the idea of having rent to pay was like stressful enough at that time with how little money I had from this. And so I again was just like, all right, I gotta like buckle down and try and fix this. So I started trying a lot of things online. I started trying all the types of videos, and like I had gotten a lot of growth originally from doing like kind of funny videos, like kind of skits about like photography. I think one of my first ones that went kind of viral, got like 3.4 million views back in the day, was like Sony making like the perfect technically advanced camera and then like me adding grain to all my photos.
Nice.
Yeah, super silly. But like, and so I tried making stuff like that again, like trying to get back in the groove of it, but that didn't feel like me anymore. Like they felt cringier than they used to feel.
Yeah.
And so I was just trying everything. Like I was trying the funny stuff. I was trying to do like kind of tutorials. I was trying to do just posting photos until I eventually one day decided to, which you can see is mostly on my page now, is I'm going to like edit photos for people on social media. I'm just going to make a video where I edit a photo from beginning to end. Because I had always had this thought where people still loved my photography. And people were always asking me, oh, like, what do you do when you shoot? Like, how do you go about these ideas? And I'm like, honestly, like, when I'm shooting, it's not that deep. Like, me shooting is not that exciting. I used to tell people, like, you'll probably learn more from me about how I craft my photography in post than you would. And then one day I'm thinking about that, and it's like, kind of clicks, like, oh, why don't I show them? Yeah. And go and post and start editing photos. Because when I'm shooting, I feel like I'm more just kind of gathering the raw material, like making sure I have every type of shot I could want, and then going back and kind of refining it like a sculptor would, you know, like you have like the big block of marble, and like that's kind of like my shoot, the 3,000 photos I took at the shoot, and then I get home and I start crafting them into the narrative that I saw in my head when I shot it. So I started doing the editing videos. First one does okay, not amazing, but it did better than anything I had done up to that point. And I started to see an interest in it.
And are these shorts or are they?
They're shorts,
reels?
So they're Instagram reels.
Just short. Are they? Were you posting reels?
I was posting reels, yeah.
So I didn't see those. Are they not on your main feed?
They're not on the main feed, so they're in the reels feed.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
I keep my reels and photos separate because again, I'm a photographer first. So when people land on my page, I want them to see my photography.
Cool.
So that's like what I want to see. So if you pull up,
I didn't realize that.
The reels page, it's just me and editing photos, you know.
Oh, cool.
And so I started doing these.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, and people love it because there's like there's no I'm not trying to hook anybody. I'm not trying to like keep it fast paced. Yeah. And it's like the first one of these I had do really well. It got over 1 million views, was like 3 minutes long. Really? And it's just me yapping about how I'm editing this photo. Yeah. And people resonate with that because I think people were tired of like trying to have their attention tricked into being focused.
When you're also giving so much value.
Yeah.
And people will sit and watch that.
Yeah. And so like that was the thing. I was just like, this is what I do. Like it's all transparency. This is just how I do it. And my person, hey, look, we know that guy.
Well, there he is, Mr. Ben and Miss Jaden.
And so I started doing these about, as of today, because I posted one today, 137 days ago. And when I posted these, my Instagram account was still dead in the water. I had 88,000 followers. And so flash forward, doing one of these every day for the last 137 days. And I was also posting them on TikTok as well. And my TikTok had maybe like 500 followers on it at the time. So yeah, 137 days of these. I went from 88,000 on Instagram to today, I think 221,000. And then TikTok is now about 69,000.
Dang,
just
dude.
From posting one of these every single day.
Yeah.
And and like,
but then they're seeing your amazing, like for me, for example, when I jumped on your Instagram, I was like, dang, this guy's good. But then you're adding, because that was my thought, is it's like, how did you grow to this account with just photography? I didn't realize you were adding so much value. Like this is, I saw them in the stories, but I didn't see the actual reels.
Yeah, so it's literally just every day I get on and I just edit a photo, how I would edit it. Yeah, nothing
I do this
flashy.
like every day in my business for my company.
Yeah.
I get on Loom and I critique the crap out of my guys' videos. So this is really cool.
But yeah, so that's kind of the long-winded story all the way up to where I am today, which is where things are kind of better than ever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just, I just kind of kept figuring out what was working and until I found this, you know, and I love what I'm doing now because I feel like I have a community of people who are there for my photography.
Yeah.
Because before we talked about my audience was kind of split. I had grown a lot for tech people, then I was doing portraits, and the audience always felt kind of divided. But now it's like people are here for photography, which is like amazing. And so between editing photos every day to posting my photo sets, which we talked about, I just kind of feel like I finally have like kind of an identity, you know, and like kind of know what I want to do and what I love doing. And it's still evolving every day. Like there's still aspects of this I want to change. Like landing on this format, you can kind of scroll to the bottom of these ones. You can see the format changed quite a bit a few times. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of these. But then even if you click on the one of her on the car, I'll still splice in just like regular kind of video ones too, you know, just fun videos here and there. You know, I had taken this shot at so I still do video here and there. I just don't like advertise it, I guess is what. It's not really the focus. But yeah, so just lots of these. Yeah, so here's like just another kind of video. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So this is really cool because it's like I was hoping we'd get to things are going better.
You're like, please tell me everything's not still terrible.
No, I'm glad that we're kind of here at this point. And what's exciting about that too is I feel like you're kind of on this trajectory where you've figured out who you are. You're also giving back and adding value, but then you found what you've loved. And that's like so cool when you hit those things and find something that works too. And by working, we've figured out it's either monetarily or it's a follower count or people are watching. You've got attention. That's kind of our gauge these days on what's doing well. So what's kind of like happening in your life right now with these successes? Because one question I had that I forgot about at the beginning of this is like, these photos, are they brand deals? Are you just getting hired by people? But first talk about like what's happening in this year that as you've started to grow your Instagram account.
Yeah. So as of right now, I think I have done officially about one paid job to shoot portraits.
No way.
Yeah. So
Did Ben hire you?
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Jessica Bio, she's on Instagram.
Okay.
She reached out to me. She had a new single coming out. She needed an album cover for it. So I shot her photos for her album cover for her new song. And that was kind of the first time I'd like done weddings and things here and there, but that was really the first, that was like the first time I was getting paid because someone wanted my talent as a photographer.
How the heck have you not been getting paid by? Like you're just doing this for fun.
I'm mostly for fun, but it is also my job. So most of this shoots I invest into the business. So like these shoots are because I want to do them. All the ones on Instagram are mostly because I want to do them or my model friends want to shoot.
And you've got you've got a thing you want to shoot. Like you've got inspiration and you got to go out and make it. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So a lot of the I guess revenue side of it is like photography related companies will reach out. Maybe they have a new filter or a light or a lens sometimes that they want me to make content on. So we keep going back to Instagram, but there is like an example of something like that. If you go up like that middle one, over one more, this one I shot for Polar Pro. They launched their new Cine Black filter. So you can see shot on Polar Pro Cine Black at the top. So if you go through it, this is kind of what some of the work stuff looks like. So there's the photos shot with the filter, but then you have, here's the filter. Gotcha. So they're coming to you to promote a product, giving you a budget, and then you're producing these. Yeah. So really cool.
Here's one I've done for them, and then if we go back out.
It's so unique, man, what I'm seeing.
And we scrolled down right there, the Aurora series. So they reached out to me with this new lens, and I shot photos for them, and just kind of showing off the lens, what's capable of. So like that's kind of where like I'm not getting hired by people to shoot photos. That's definitely something I want to kind of advertise more, because I'd love to do that, you know.
Well, you'll get to a point where you'll get some pretty big names reaching out.
So it'd be really fun. I just like, it's one of those things where like people don't know what you do unless they know what you do. And like, again, that's when I want to work on going forward, is advertising like, hey, you can hire me to do this. You know, and there's Polar Pro again. They sent me a lot of filters cool. to shoot, but so yeah, like that's something I want to work on going forward, is like, you know, making that more obvious, because again, I'm transitioning from doing mainly portraits to shooting for couples. And so like, like getting into like kind of elopement style shoots, engagement shoots, things like that. People just want photos with their significant other. Like I'd love to do more of that.
That top mill image, man, where was that?
Which one? Right there?
Yeah.
That is about, I would say about 2 hours southwest from here.
Oh, so like Eureka, like
yeah, dunes. Down in like Little Sahara.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, so I shot those out there. And so, yeah, a lot of fun. And
beautiful.
But yeah, so a lot of like the revenue side of things come from like two places right now. They come from, again, brand deals, kind of photography adjacent. They have gear and stuff they want me to talk about and make stuff on. But then also from like my own digital assets. So one of the things that I do a lot of is I obviously have like Lightroom presets and like asset bundles for stuff. Cause like a lot of this stuff, like if you see, I have like the different text, like movie style text, fonts, things like that. Like how I do all this stuff, like I have an asset pack that has all of this available on my website of how I actually make these things. So like you can go to like the shop page, you'll find there you go. There's like Lightroom preset packs. There's the asset bundle. So it's like I have like my one that emulates film, one that's like a cinematic tone, one that's like light and airy, kind of changing. And so like every day I'm editing these photos and I'll just be like, I'm gonna grab one of my presets to use as a base for this and just showcase these. And then now that's kind of a major part of the revenue stream.
What's interesting is you're editing other people's photos, and I'm sure they see this and then they're like, well, I just want to go buy that preset.
Exactly. So I opened that up because people have been asking me to edit their photos. And it also made sense because it took pressure off of me to always having to go out and take photos. And I wanted it to feel more community based, so people could submit their photos, and it's like cool to see your photo being edited and see someone else's interpretation on it. And so, and yeah, again, from a business aspect, you know, someone sees their photo edited with the thing maybe they're considering buying, like, oh, like that looks great, you know, and like they'll probably go buy. At least that's the hope from a business perspective, you know. And I think it's all pretty transparent because like I edit with the presets how I would, you know. It's like there's not like any fluffery behind it, or like not just showing like the best version. It's like you're seeing it uncut how I edit and how I use the presets. So it's like you get a really good idea of how they work before you like take a gamble. Because I think we've all been there when we see someone's final work of like a preset or like a LUT pack or something, and then we get it and we're like, oh, like
doesn't work with my shot.
That doesn't work the way I want it to. And you feel like you wasted money. And so again, like I think with the editing videos, it's like I'm like, they're all like most of the, like sometimes they'll be like a one fix, but a lot of times like they're just a foundation. Like I'll like apply the preset, but then I'll edit it for another 2 minutes to get it kind of get it to where I want it to go, and like kind of just showing that and how they work, people get a good idea before they purchase. So kind of like the way the business kind of operates right now is like, again, those brand deals come in for photography related things, and then just selling my own assets of just like I go and take photos to then edit them for people to essentially funnel people towards, you know, digital asset sales. And so it's been doing really well. And
so cool, man. Like it's your story is extremely inspiring, and you have just started.
This is just the beginning.
It is, man. And it's like you're so early too, and stoked for you that, like, you know, the downs, you picked yourself up, carried yourself out of it. I'm glad you're on an up right now.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better from here. And
I'm sure it'll go down again, but
it will.
I love
It's
all
life.
those downs because every time you go down, you come back higher.
Yep, exactly.
And,
it's one step back, 2 steps forward.
Yeah, and every
constantly.
time they go down, you learn a lot. Like, again, like now, as of today, like I'm a lot more careful with the brand because I know how fragile something like this can be.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more careful about what kind of brand deals I do, work with, because I want to build trust with the community, because that's so important. Because before it was kind of like I was more focused on like I gotta like pay the bills, so I was just like, yeah, you're paying, sure, but I wasn't really thinking about that. But nowadays I'm like, if you're not aligning with like kind of the core identity, and it's not something like I'm actually using or going to use or feel like I recommend, like I don't care how much you're offering me, I'm not gonna take it. I've made those mistakes before, and I know what happens with that. It's like, because to me, like, building a trust with the community is number one.
Yeah, and it's longevity too. It's
the longevity of it, and like they'll be there, And I love the idea of also continuing to just develop my own products that as best as I can to help other people, because then it's like I would rather make stuff for you and try and sell you that to pay the bills than trying some company telling me to advertise to you. Like I want everything that I sell is like I use this. Today if I promote it, it's because I use it. Like that Polar Pro filter is sitting on my camera right now. I love it. I said yes because I wanted the filter first and foremost. And so, but yeah, it's like having, every time you go through like a hard point in your career, in life, or whatever, like it's such a blessing because you learn so much from those points. Like I've gotten closer to my goals from every wrong choice I made than every right choice. Like it's all the bad decisions that actually got me to where I wanted to be, because those are the moments where you learn, you get better, you're forced to adapt. And like, so that next down's going to come, but I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. 'Cause it's like, it just means my stuff's going to get better. You look at it as a teaching moment, not a failure. And it's the calluses, you're getting stronger as you go through these things. You've given so much advice. So I'm excited for your final advice. Not to put any pressure, but before we go there, now that you're kind of on this trajectory, where do you hope this goes in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, what do you think? 5 to 10 years. I think just being able to still be doing it. Okay. Number one. Being able to hopefully provide for a family. I think that's kind of number one. Like, again, like motivations for me these days, they're not so much spite anymore. They're like, okay, like I'm getting older, like I'm turning 29 next month. And like, it's kind of getting to that point where like I'm going to get into my 30s, and that's kind of the time where it's okay, I need to get married again and start looking at a family and things like that. 'Cause that's stuff that's very important to me and that I want in my life. And I know that this business I have now is like going to be what I am going to provide for that future family with. And so for me, it's like, what can I do between now and then? Like I'm building a future. Like I'm working now for, not out of spite, but for the person I need to be for my future kids, my future wife, whoever they are. So in like 5 to 10 years, like, just having this be even more secure, work on having better retainer clients, making the best thing you can, maybe making better products for people, like just having it be very sufficient and like kind of sturdy, like have some of the highs and lows be less aggressive or dramatic. I want to focus a lot on YouTube. We didn't talk a lot about YouTube. I do make YouTube videos here and there, but they're not consistent enough, and it's something I really want to focus on, because I think long form video and like talking about photography, like not having to just squeeze into 3 minutes, is something I really want to do. I love to talk, as we can see. I kind of
and I love to listen.
And so I want to focus on that. But like I don't have any crazy dreams. I'm not chasing clout. I'm not chasing a super car that I want to buy. My dream car is a 1990s 4Runner with a tent topper on it off of Facebook Marketplace. Like I just want to be able to provide a life for a future family in the next 5 to 10 years, doing what I love. I want to be able to have a flexible schedule where like I can be present in my kids' lives and be the dad that's there. I want to be at all the soccer games. I want to be at all the dance recitals, whatever they are. Live in a comfortable house, nothing crazy, be able to travel the world, stuff like that. And so that's kind of 5 to 10 years.
You got a good head on your shoulders.
Trying.
That's a good vision. I thought of something as you were talking. Do you use AI right now?
Sparingly,
I'm
yeah.
curious, like how you use it in your career
AI
as a tool.
It's a lot of generative remove.
Yeah.
In Photoshop.
Yeah.
So it's taking, like, if I'm shooting in a park, like even today's video, I used it in the editing, and so there's some people in the background in the park. I just remove them, kind of clean up the frame. Sometimes I'll use it to, because like with those stacked images, they're pretty wide, like a weird they're like the 21:9 aspect ratio. So I'll add a little bit to the edge sometimes. Sometimes I'll talk with ChatGPT, trying to like come up with names for like the different series that I do. Like I'll kind of brainstorm things. I'm like, give me like a 2-word title. I'll kind of tell them the idea.
Very cool.
So I use it not very more like assistive in my workflow, not kind of creating things out of nothing. But honestly, what I use it for sometimes is like if I need a PNG for like something, I'll go in and be like, can you turn this into like a PNG and like remove the edges or something, but cool. Very more assistive in my workflow.
And that's how it's going to be for us creatives going forward, is it's going to be a great tool for us, and it already is. And then I just love the idea of like these images with stories behind them. They're always going to be there, and people are going to crave it, because it's going to die even more and more as AI becomes more crazy.
Yeah. So every day
it is every day, every quarter. It's like video has gotten so much better. So it's crazy. Every time I talk to someone that comes up, because we're all in that space, we're all kind of like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But we got 2 more things. I want to end with some advice that you'd give to someone. You've got a lot of it, and you've got a lot of trials and errors that you've gone through. And what would you tell someone that wants to head down the same path as a photographer and get to the point you have, which is a great Instagram account, and just talk to them about
that? If someone was getting in today, I would first and foremost tell them, like, bet on yourself. Yeah. Like, you are way more capable than you think you are. So just get after it, and I also tell them it's going to take work. You're going to have to put in the long hours. You also need to have a love for what you're doing. A lot of my driving factor is I love this. I love taking these photos. Like we talked about, most photos I take because I want to. The work is kind of a byproduct of it. But if you're motivated by like you just want to become famous, you want to have the most following, you want to buy a fancy car, make a lot of money, you're going to burn out. You need to have a love for this craft. You need to love making videos, taking photos. Like that needs to be the driving force of why you're doing what you're doing. Take risks, bet on yourself. Also, like, always be trying to be better. Don't get into like the artist mindset that it's like, well, this is just how I do it. Because like that can be true, but there's also this is a balancing act of running a business and being an artist. And I think you should always be looking to improve your work. And also, like, sometimes that does mean like, okay, like you need to cater to what people want a little bit. And the exciting part is trying to figure out how can I cater to what people want, but it still be unique to me. Cool. Just that's kind of probably the advice I give. Oh, also gear doesn't matter. I agree. I think we didn't touch much on that. I bought way too much gear early on. I got really into like the gear acquisition syndrome, to the point now most of what we looked at I shot on a point and shoot. This whole year all of my photography has been done on a Fujifilm X100VI, a little point and shoot camera, a very good one, but that's all you need. You don't need all the lenses, you don't need everything. Just get out, focus on things like photography specifically, if we can get into that. Focus on your color theory, your compositions, the story you're trying to tell. The gear will come down the line. Gear does matter to a point, but don't start investing into it until you reach a roadblock.
I'm thinking it's going to make you better.
Yeah, it's not going to make you better, but it might make things easier from time to time,
For sure. Really great advice. We started something last podcast which is I got from another podcast, something about the CEO, Diary of a CEO. I thought it was awesome, but I want to end it with you answering a question from the last guest that we just had.
Oh, okay.
So they ask a question, not knowing who you are.
Okay.
You answer it, and then we're going to have you ask the next guest a question.
Oh, man. I'm not sure what to ask. You
won't even know who it is, but I'll let you kind of think about that in the back of your head. What was that question? I forget.
Is there a moment in your career or a moment in your life or career where you could have gone one way and you decided to go the way that you did?
Oh.
There's a turning point.
Yeah.
So let me...
Where's your biggest fork in the road?
Okay. So I'll ask that question so everyone can hear. Was there a point in your life where, and we're talking a moment, that was like a decision that you had to take your life in a different direction?
Yeah.
And instead you went the direction you went?
Yeah.
Did you have that moment in your life?
Yeah, I think we've touched on it a little bit earlier. But that moment in me is my divorce, which it's like one of those things like I don't love, because it's like I don't want to be defined by that point in my life. But it was that fork in the road. Like we talked about, sitting in my car after making like $8 delivering pizzas all night, just being scared, heartbroken. I like had a choice in that moment where I was like, I can keep doing this, trying to abandon this dream and maybe go back to school, maybe work some dead end jobs, or I can take a chance and really go head first into this career. And that's what I did. And
you made that decision.
I made that decision. I remember in that moment just being like, it was before I had driven home, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go all in on this. Like, I know I'm capable of more than this. I know I can make more of my life than this other path would lead me down, this path where I give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
so cool.
Yeah.
It's like really interesting to connect the two podcasts. So yeah, putting you on the spot, man. Do you have a question for a filmmaker, photographer, whatever it is?
Yeah.
And it could be about anything. Like, what would you want to ask someone about this career, this industry, I guess?
I don't know. I guess like I feel like theirs was so deep, and
it surprised me.
Yeah,
I think we got to start adding this to the end of to our guest like information so that people can think about it. So this is brand new.
Yeah. I might like flip it.
Whatever you want.
I think maybe kind of in a similar vein of like, was there ever a point in your career that you made a choice and you regret it? I love that. That maybe you're on a trajectory now, but you have this thought in the back of your head that like maybe this other path would have led me somewhere even better.
Super good.
Is there something like a job you said no to that you kind of regret or something, Is there
maybe something that's still hanging over their head?
Yeah, like that kind of grail thing that you still think about.
Do you have one of those?
I don't think I'm fortunate enough to have one of those yet.
Yes, you do. But like things that are just something that maybe just, do you have a regret?
Do I have a regret? Not being smarter with brand deals early on was a regret. I do think about that, like if I would have been more picky when it came to like who I worked with early on, like I am now, would things be different? Because I think before I was just trying to pay the bills.
Could you have built something quicker?
Yeah. Or was I trying to should I have played the long game? Like would the brands and clientele that I was looking for, would they have come? But did I just were they on the horizon, but like I wasn't patient enough?
That's interesting because I don't like the word regret, because I think like you say, yes, that's a regret, but at the same time, you're here where you are. Yeah. So it's hard to say I regret that, because if you're on the trajectory you're on now, maybe back then it was like, I regret doing that. But now you're like, oh, that led me to here. Yeah. It's like unanswered prayers, man. It's like one of my favorite things. There's so many things we used to want that we didn't get. And we're like, gosh, I'm glad that didn't work out, because here I am. Yeah.
Life is funny because it's like when you're in the moment, you're always like, things aren't going to plan. What am I doing? This is so scary. But then you get to the other side of like kind of that uncertainty time where you feel like nothing's working, or like things went a different way than you thought. But then when you look back, you can't imagine it happening any other way. You're like, no, like that's how it had to happen.
Yep.
That's how I like, you know, being in the middle of like a divorce while trying to build a business. That was not something I expected or wanted to happen. But now I look back, I'm like, no, like that had to happen.
Yep.
You know? So yeah, I think I'm like you, like I don't regret much, you know, because I all feel like it all happened the way it was supposed to, but it is fun to think about, you know, like what could have been, you know, so.
It's cliche, but it's the truth, and that's we're all on our own path.
Yeah.
And things come in time, and there's not really much we can do but just do our best and be a good person.
Yeah, be a good person.
That's like what it comes down to.
Be a good person. I think if I could give one last bit of advice would be like, like, just like cheer everyone on. Like you said, be a good person, you know, like don't, like you see other people doing things like, you know, cheer them on, comment on their posts, share their stuff. Just like tell people that they're doing a good job. Yeah. Like even in person, when you run into people, just like tell people they're doing a good job. Cause I don't think a lot of people hear that enough, especially like in this creative field. Cause a lot of us are working in closets alone under the stairs. And, we're all kind of just making this kind of isolated, you know? So I think like when you get the chance, just like, tell people they're doing a good job, admire people's stuff. Like don't put a chip on your shoulder. Like you're better than anybody. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. It's a community thing. And I think the people who go the furthest are the people who support the most people. Yeah. You know? Well, Austin, you're doing a good job. I'm trying my best. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be better every day. So. Cool. Well, we'll end it right there. Thanks for being on. Of course. Thanks for having me.